Welcome to Lighting with Luke. Get excited. Today I'm just going to show you how to quickly program a song using Clarity. The rig is for Life Church North, the 2023 rig that they've got going. So yeah, let's get started. Let me pull down all of my faders over here. All right, so what we're looking at here is I've just split the view on Clarity so that I have my rig on one screen, and then I'm going to switch this over to Programmer on this other screen over here. The easiest way to split out these tabs up the top here is just to double click on the name, and then that will split it out into a different window, which you can drag across to another screen if you wanted to work across two screens. And then the easiest way to get that back into the main tabs up the top here is just to close it, and that will automatically bring it back into the main tabs. All right, let's program a song. The reason that I've gone and split out the rig tab from the programmer tab is just to make it easier in terms of light selection. And from my experience, that's the best way to go about programming a song. Over in the rig here, we've got all of the different lights that we have across the stage. And then over here is the groupings. So we have the lights that are up the top, the LED lights that are up the top. Then we've got the Fresnels that are up the top, the lights that are on the floor. Then we've got the lights that are on the vertical trusses. So we've got the left truss, the right truss, and then both of them together. The lights that are across the top of the stage, and then we've got sort of our auditorium lighting here, and then our front wash. So when programming a song, we don't need to look at the auditorium lighting or the front wash, as they're controlled individually. So I've just jumped across to the control booth here. They're controlled via these sort of master faders that we have here. So they don't need to be programmed for each individual song. They're sort of looked at live during your set. So let's go ahead and select our lights. We've got our back truss LEDs that we're going to select here. And when I select them, you can see that over here in the programmer, we've got the attributes just up the top here, which highlights. And you can see that for these lights, there's a couple of different attributes that we have. We have the intensity. So what you can do is with your mouse, click on the intensity and drag it to where you want that intensity to be. And as you can see, as you can see, when I drag that intensity across, the intensity on your rig shows you a picture of what you're programming over in your programmer tab. So let's bring that to 100%, and you can see that these bars have been fully filled. So that means that that light is at 100%. Then we have the different, so these lights are RGBW. So it means that you can individually program the amount of red, green, blue, and white that it's displaying. Although what I find is the easiest thing to do is jump down to your color wheel here, and then you can automatically choose what color you want. So let's put them as a blue color. You can do a little bit of color matching. So if you want more purple, you can see that as we drag across that color wheel, it changes up in our attributes here, and it also changes over in our rig over here. So let's put them as blue. Actually, let's put them as light blue. And then you can see that that color has changed there. And we've got our attributes over here. So I like that for the first look in this song. So what I'm going to do is hit record. And with that, it brings up this dialog box. In this dialog box, we've got new cue list if we wanted to make a new song. We have existing cue list if we wanted to add this look to one of our existing songs. And then we also have selected cue list, which we don't need to worry about as that is not related to this rig. So let's go new cue list. The name will be the name of the song that you're looking to program. And then jumping across here, we have the number 1, as this is going to be the first look that we produce for this song. And then we'll name that first look. So typically it would be verse that we would be looking at. So let's go ahead and name that as verse in there. And I'll just put this as song 1. That's really all that we need to do in this dialog box. A lot of these presets we don't need to touch. You can go through and have a bit of a look at what they mean, but they're all fairly stock standard, so don't need to touch anything in there. Come down the bottom here and we'll hit record. So that is the first cue in our new song that we're programming. I'll just quickly jump across to Control Booth, and you can see that our song is sitting down here with verse as the only cue that is in there. All right, let's jump back across to our programmer, and we want to look at the next cue in the song, which is going to be related to potentially the chorus. So we'll jump back across to our rig here, and you can see that we can put in maybe our horizontal trusses. We might bring in some of the front LEDs as well, and just for fun we'll bring in our floor LEDs. So you jump back across to here, and in the program you can see that we've got quite a few different attributes going on here. That's because the lights that are across the front of the stage are different types of lights than the ones that we have on the floor and on the trusses. So because they're a different type of light, these Quad Pros, they will have different attributes to just the traditional RGBWs that we have. The good thing is you can control both of these together. If you just jump down, we'll put the intensity at 100. So that has highlighted all of those lights. And then we're going to put the color as purple. And that will change it depending on the attribute across both different types of lights. What you can do is select these lights individually and go through and change them to whatever color you like. And then after you're happy with how your look looks like, you can go back up to here and hit record. So what that has done is it's jumped us across to the existing cue list, and now we're sort of adding on to song 1 in here. And let's call this chorus. Record. Now we'll go back to the control booth over here, and you can see that in our song 1 we have verse and we have chorus that has come up here. So that's the way that you can continue to add different looks to each song. We haven't really gone into very much detail about sort of the fancy stuff in programming in terms of doing like an intensity chase or a color chase or anything like that. I might save that for a different video, but that is the basic way to program a song. The last thing that I wanted to show is I'll bring up our virtual fader wing over here. And this virtual fader wing is automatically connected into the hardware that we have. So any changes that you make on this virtual fader will automatically correspond to the hardware that we have there. So all that you need to do in order to get song 1 onto the hardware is drag and drop. So we can put that in any slot, any open slot that we like if you don't like it in that slot, you can just right click and go clear. It doesn't clear it from the control booth in here, it just clears it from your fader wing. So let's put that back in there. And you see that song 1 is sitting in there. One thing that we want to do is right up the top here, we have a button called Clear All. Since we've gone through programming, all of those presets are still set within our lights at the moment. So we'll go across here and we'll go Clear All until it grays out, and that will clear everything from our rig. And that will mean that when we start to use our virtual fader, there's no presets that are getting in the way of that. So we can bring that fader up, and you can see that it automatically goes to the first cue, which was our verse. We'll jump back across to our rig here. So that was the first cue that we put in. And then we'll go across to our next cue, chorus, and that's programmed in where our chorus is sitting. And then bring that down, and it will clear all from the song, and you'll be able to go on to your next song. So that is the basics on how to program a song. Yeah, hope that helps.